Hello everyone, I wanted to talk to you today about basically being homeless. Um, it's no easy task. I mean, some people are homeless by choice these days, because it's getting become increasingly easier to be homeless. But should you end up in a situation where you just absolutely have to be homeless, things you'll need. Definitely a job, a gym membership, and make sure that gym has a shower, or if you can afford it, a martial arts school membership if they have a shower, because not only are you getting in shape, staying in shape, you're also, there's also showers in there, and you're getting a education on how to defend yourself on these streets, man. Because people are in despair these days, desperation and despair, and they'll run up on you. It's pretty much the zombie apocalypse. So you can't be surprised about what folks will do or what folks will try. So yeah, self-defense is a definite. But if not, gym memberships are cheaper, like a 24-hour fitness. Run in, shower up, get your work in. Try to get a workout in. It's just better. Like that should influence you to do a workout. That's what I had, a gym membership and a martial arts membership, if you can afford it. Because the whole thing is, if you're in a situation where you're homeless, and you haven't found a place to stay, and you're not making enough to have a place to stay where you are, a gym membership is not a lot of money, to stay clean for, maybe a job interview, and maybe hopefully get a better job that pays more, that you can afford it, or until you save up. It's not, it's a low cost to stay clean and keep your hygiene, because your hygiene is definitely a part of your physical health and your mental health. It's another thing, the circle of health. That's, everything ties into everything. It starts with hygiene, oral, general hygiene, just overall body hygiene. And it's good for your mental health to know that you have somewhere to take a shower, and that you're not sitting up stinking, because you can smell yourself when you smell bad. Of course you need hygiene products money as well. Use it very sparingly, but not to the point where you're still, it's like, did you even take a shower? Are you even putting these products on? Definitely don't do that. All right, so definitely a roof of some sort. Like, you can't afford a hotel, cash car, somewhere that is open 24 hours, or somewhere you could park for 24 hours, maybe move your car a block up or something like that. I stayed in Walmart parking lots, so that was one. And then if you have a place that you can pay for storage for your car, stay in your car in the storage room. Sorry, storage people owners, storage unit owners. And I also stayed in storage units for someone who allowed it. They were cool, and they also wanted me to stay in their house, but I didn't want to be in there, and her kids had needed to get up for school in the morning as somebody on their couch. So she knows who she is. Thank you so much. I really genuinely appreciate everything you did for me. And yes, I did lose your number. I don't have a Facebook page anymore, because just know I do have a new one, and I'll put it out here. Can't remember the name, because I just made it, and I kind of just leave stuff like that, just like my Instagram page. I leave that stuff alone now. Like, I used to be on Facebook a lot, but I realized it was just a very toxic thing, and there was just better things to do, and I wasn't making money off of it. If it don't make money, then it don't make sense, right? So anyway, stayed in the storage unit, couch surfed a little bit, but my preference is I like to be alone. I liked my peace and quiet, and I needed that time alone, so me and God could have our conversations. Had a 24-hour storage unit, and you can also find a job that can get you a place to stay, or at least a place to stay at a discount. What is it? You can actually work at a storage unit, because most storage facilities, they provide you with a home as well. The house is free as long as you just do the work. So where you have to stay is free, and you just utilities and all, I believe, or some, depends on what their agreement is, but it is a place to stay, and it's free typically, or highly discounted to the point it's very affordable. Like, why would they have you selling storage units, right? And want you to be on site 24/7 for these people's problems with their storage unit, and you don't have a place to stay. Yes, they give you a place to stay. Apartments, I forget the name of them, but one of those clerical people in the apartment complexes, discount. Or you can be the maintenance person in the apartment complex, discounts. You know, these are plenty of things you could do. I was a facilities manager at one of these too, which was also one of the reasons I got the invitation to stay. Well, we were cool at that. Why I got to stay in the storage units, and you know, it's just a lot safer than staying in your car. Tinted windows, get the darkest tint you could possibly get. You know, get some blankets and some you know, window shields and whatnot. And you probably want an SUV, but you know, if you can't afford an SUV, if you don't have one already, you know, and you can't afford like even a cash car, then yeah, you know, either way, tint your windows. If you have a truck and maybe you're on the verge of homelessness, yeah, it seems pricey, but it's worth it for the journey. You know, so worth it. A camper on your if it's a pickup truck, if it's an SUV, you're good. Tint your windows, because people are always looking for something. You know, there are all kinds of people out there, you know, they want to look in your windows, so on and so forth. You know, definitely a place near somewhere that's open 24 hours that has a restroom that you can get into, you know, even during COVID. You know, because like, I don't know if any of you, how many people have been to downtown San Francisco, the Tenderloin, but it smells like straight piss out there. And, you know, I'd hate to see any of you on the streets, you know, peeing behind trash cans and buildings and vacant buildings and whatnot. But you do what you need to do, not knocking it. You know, like, not everybody has a support system. You know, some of these people on the streets, they, you know, they're judged and ridiculed, but they really don't have a strong support system, and probably never did. That was what I fell down, is I didn't have a support system. I had people, a bunch of crabs around me, just hating on me, you know, and wanted to see me at my worst. So, you know, moms, dad, you know, and, you know, those pretend offerings where they act like they want to help you and give you a place to stay and help out, but then they make your life a living hell while you're there. You know, I didn't even take them up on the offer, because I already knew what it was, and my peace meant more than having, you know, a shelter, especially if it meant sharing it with them. You know, so I would definitely rather stay. They were mad at me. I know my great grandmother was pissed off at me because I didn't tell her, but this was my journey, and this was my peace. So, you know, if you're wanting to go it alone and, you know, not really ask for a bunch of help and things like that, then those are some, you know, a few tips that can help you through homelessness. But definitely use that time to build yourself, because once you start getting your home and, you know, get another living establishment, then, you know, people are going to want to come over. There will be distractions. There's stuff for you to fix, versus if you have a car or two, then you can definitely fix it. I mean, you'll have to fix it on the spot, because you know, that's your transportation and your home. You know, I would recommend, while you're up, anyone is just have a car that they don't really use. Even if it's a cash car, just make sure, you know, it's tuned up while you have the money, because a lot of people like to get their extra money and spend it on monetary things and for the moment and for satisfaction. But, you know, and that's the problem with a lot of Americans. We don't really plan for the future. You know, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, like, that's why so many Americans are not prepared for a crisis, even a personal crisis, and not a global crisis. So that's where a lot of us fall short. You know, prepare for things like this, because it's not with the energy like, oh, it's going to happen. It could, but, you know, by the grace of God, you know, if that's not God's plan, it's not going to happen, right? If you don't put too much of that energy, if you don't put that energy out there, like, I'm going to be homeless one day, so do this and that. This is a just in case, like, you know, God keep me, but, you know, I'm going to get these things just in case, you know, things get rocky and I end up, you know, SOL and nobody's there to back me. You know, that's the situation I ended up in. And I kept a car and a job the whole time. I was never without a job. Since I started working, I haven't been without a job. Always been a hard worker. And there was a point I was actually working 4 jobs and falling asleep at stopped green lights And I was like, that is not the way. And so, you know, I did a lot of starting over, you know, circumstantial. And, you know, definitely if you want, also restaurant jobs are good if you're homeless, because, you know, they feed you. So you got food, you know, free meals, or so on and so forth. You know, like, even if it's a pizza joint, yeah, you get tired of eating the same thing over and over, but, you know, try to get a job at like a Papa Do's, a upscale restaurant. You know, it's because it'll get you a variety of food that you more than likely won't get tired of. And definitely change your diet, man. Like, seriously, because you're already out there, and it's definitely going to take a toll on your mental stamina. You know, it's definitely going to wear you down, wear you out for sometimes, you know, because there's plenty of times I definitely cried, especially after I had to give my son back to his dad. I cried a lot, you know. And yeah, change your diet. Change it to fruits, you know, add more fruits. If you're eating Reese's and Snickers bars, that's not a good deal to have especially while you're living in your car. It's not good to have it in general, in the first place, even when you're high up. But when you're homeless and your situation is already stressful, the last thing you want to do is add more stress to your organs and your systems. You don't, you know, that's overload, and that's how you end up in the hospital. Change your diet, change your routines, you know, get a strong workout routine, because, you know, health is wealth, period. If you don't have your health, you know, I don't care what you do, you know, like, if that part of your health goes, you won't have whatever it is it takes to keep that, and what it took to get it, or what it takes to get it again. So health is wealth, period. There's no argument for this. It's wealth. Like, if you are homeless, it's a strain on your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual. It's a test all the way around, and only the strong survive, man. Some people, you know, they commit suicide to this type of stuff, you know, instead of looking, you know, they're not the why me, they're not the try me, they're the why me people. The people who survive this are the try me people. You know, they might be the why me people at first, or at moments, you know, where it's just so frustrating and overwhelming that they have no choice but to cry. And that's okay. It's okay to cry. Cry to your heart's content, but make sure you don't stay there. Don't stay in that place, and mentally, you know, get some books, you know, educate yourselves. You know, this is a good time to start looking into your own business, because you don't have people to distract you, obviously, because you're homeless, right? There's not many people around you. So get books and, you know, educate yourself. You know, like, if you want to start a business, read up on what it takes to start and run that business, to maintain it, and learn the highest potential of that business, and figure out if it matches up with your highest potential and your greater good. You know, these are things you should do when you're homeless. And, you know, that was just based on my experience. I was probably homeless about 3 years, I'd say. Yeah, about 3 years. And then, you know, I met my significant other. I laid it out all on the table, like, hey, man, this is what it is. And, you know, he accepted. And it doesn't seem to be any malicious intent. He's just a genuine guy, and I was blessed to run into him. You know, like, I was on dating apps, which is probably not the best thing I should have done, but I just still did. You know, even with or without a roof over my head, you got to get things accomplished, you know, by yourself, because the whole thing is, that's what I did. I accomplished everything by myself that I have in my life. Everything I have in my life, I busted my ass for. And, you know, he provided the roof over my head, which is great, but everything else, it was all me. Like, these are things I could have did with or without him, but I'm grateful to have him in my life, you know, and have a, you know, have some help putting a roof over my head. And, yeah. Not everybody's gonna have the same story, because I definitely, you know, it's kind of like, sometimes I'm just like, man, I wish I would have stayed out there and just got it on my own, because there's a lot of distractions around me, you know. But this is, now I'm learning to find and take time by myself, you know, because once you get back into that into the good graces, you know, into the material world, because that's basically what homelessness is. You're being taken out of a material existence, you know, being taken out of a material mindset, a material environment, excess mindset, you know, and put into a what's efficiency mindset. You know, because a lot of the material things we have, we really do not need. Like, you know, the only reason we need cars is to get around. You know, what is this? Not survivalist. I'll keep efficiency. I'll keep that word, because you know, you don't need, you know, video games. You don't need TV. You know, there's a lot of stuff that we have that we simply do not need, and you know, God wants us to see that. Like, all we need is God, and you know, we need to be able to mentally stimulate ourselves, mentally entertain ourselves, and educate ourselves. This is what God shows us, what we really need to be focused on. You know, and that's just the basic necessities of life. He teaches you to, and it also teaches you to, if you're used to being around a bunch of people, party animal, and you're definitely a giver, you know, he takes you away from the takers, you know, and the people who, you know, are only around you because you're Mr. Good Time Man or whatever. You know, you're the party animal. You're the person who knows where all the hottest places are, and it shows you who your friends are. It shows you who's real around you. So he removes anything that is not necessity from your life and has you rebuild based around necessity. You know, and that environment can be created just as beautifully, if not more so, than your material environment, you know, your party environment, your excess mindset. With that, I'll leave you. Life is too short to be minding other people's business. Time is the only thing that is truly priceless. So don't spend it minding other people's business, and definitely let people, you know, tell people. Don't let people tell you. You tell people how much your time is worth, and most importantly, just mind your business. Mind your business. Peace.